Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Well, today is Prince Edward's birthday, March the 10th, and he is 60 years old. And Edward and I are within a year of each other, meaning we are both now 60 years old. Um, I know my granny, I mentioned my granny was a real monarchist and she loved Queen Elizabeth. She found it very strange that her daughter and Queen Elizabeth were pregnant at the same time. She couldn't wrap her head around that. So that was really interesting in our family. Well, to my granny. But anyways, today's his 60th birthday, so happy birthday. And I just want to point out, a few of you have pointed out that in February on Valentine's Day, I did a romance reading for Sophie and Edward. And I've been doing readings for them because we have all noticed he's lost weight and they have not been together for months and months and months until Christmas time. Like it was 6 months at least. I think we saw that June was the last time they were together and then they weren't together until Christmas time. And I did the February reading and it was Sophie had enough and she gave him an ultimatum. And the last card was he was going to accept that ultimatum. And since then, we've seen them 3 times together at charity events. And Sophie even did a very tender-hearted, warm-hearted, I don't want to say speech. It's not an announcement. Like it was like she stood up and did a toast to Edward. And it was very heartwarming, and you could just see that they have reconnected. And so, just like the cards told me, that Sophie gave him the like, I can't do this anymore. Either fix this or move on. And he decided to fix it. And you can just see that they're renewed. You can just see their energy. They're renewed. So thankfully, that all worked out. And we all have married, like we've all been married. We all know it's not a straight line. It's up and down. And and we're lucky enough ours isn't played out in public. Only our nosy Mrs. Kravitz neighbor knows about what's going on. I'm aging myself when I say Mrs. Kravitz. All right. So anyways, Edward's birthday, he just went through his solar return, his Saturn return. Now, some people have asked me what's Saturn return. That's when Saturn, it's about anywhere from 27 to 30 years. It returns back to the exact same spot it was before on the day you were born. And so the year before it gets to that exact spot and the year after that exact spot is lessons. It's the taskmaster. And if you haven't learned your lessons, Saturn brings you a big, big fat F. And if you have learned your lessons, so for example, when you get to your 60, it usually starts about age 58 to 60, somewhere around there. If you've been diligent, you've done well in your career, you've squirreled away a bit of money, Saturn will reward you with maybe even more money and a promotion, that kind of thing. And so I think poor Edward, he just went through a terrible Saturn return. He lost both parents in his Saturn return. He had a bit of marriage difficulties, allegedly. That's what my sources were saying. And he's on the other side of it, and he has his dukedom. And I have a funny feeling he's going to get his hereditary dukedom soon. I think he will be rewarded for that. If Charles doesn't do it, I'm pretty sure William will. I was looking a little bit into that, but we'll ask the cards. And I also wanted to point out his moon is in Aquarius, and Sophie is an Aquarian, so they are a really good match. And also his 5th house, Saturn is late in his 5th house, and 5th house is the royalty house. And that just goes to show he didn't get his dukedom until he was 58, and till after he turned 58. And that just shows that Saturn was the reward during his Saturn return. So he got some things taken away. He got his parents taken away, but he did get a reward with his career. And I did read last year that he was going to be well suited to his promotion. So let's get started. So for Edward, for his 60th birthday, so we're going in, he's done 60 years, he's going into his 61st year. What say you, cards? Wow. See that interesting flip? Holy, what's here? Oh, he's gonna get that hereditary dukedom. You watch, it's gonna be because this is public, this is news and information out in the public, and this is the anchor. So that's what's telling me he's going to be anchored to that dukedom, and it's going to create some excitement and some articles, and everybody on the internet, congratulations, and it will be very, very public. So it's his public persona will be anchored. Oh, very interesting. Well, thank you for jumping out, but I want to do his birthday reading. That was very interesting. I don't think those cards have ever done that to me. All right. Oh, bouquet. Oh, I love that for him. Fox. Fox. Oh, woman. Woman. Do I want to make sure I got enough room here. Child. Was he going to be a grandfather this year? Star. Book. Book. I don't think he'll be a there's some kind of new beginning here. Fish. Fish. And I kept reading that they were changing homes and nothing was officially announced. But now looking back, I wonder if they were living in separate homes quietly without it, being announced or nobody really paying attention because they were having marital problems. Yeah. Love. Anchor. Yeah, you know what? They've got a fresh new start. They've got a fresh new start. Fresh new start. He might start some kind of, here's the anchor and the man again. He might start some kind of new offering, new opportunity. The birds again. And the dog. Well, okay. So let's do he's going to have a fantastic year. He is going to have a year of lots of love, of lots of good things happening. Things that happen in this year for him will be an anchor year for him and continue very far into the future. Here he is in his future, looking towards his future. He's surrounded by very friendly people, by helpful people. He actually is going to have some kind of career opportunity, whether that's opportunity that he gets his hereditary, whether that's his opportunity that he starts a new patronage, for example, maybe something to do with children. It's definitely going to it's some kind of opportunity that's going to create a lot of fuss. But be amazing for him. He's going to have an amazing love life this year. He's got something here that's actually going to create a lot of money for him, a lot of money, and we don't see what it is. What's interesting here, considering what's all going on in the royal family, there's no endings here. There's nothing about his health here. There's no endings. There's nothing about his health. Right? We don't have the coffin. We don't have the whip. We don't have, the tree badly aspected. The only thing you could say is this fox sometimes can be an opportunist. But to me, when the fox is surrounded by excellent cards, excellent good cards, it's an opportunity. So there might be an opportunity that comes along for him for some kind of new business venture that will actually be very stabilizing for him in some regards. And again, maybe it's his hereditary dukedom, but we've got both Sophie and him on the table. She's going to be an anchor for him, but they're kind of looking in different directions. I think I'm almost getting a sense that Edward has a renewed sense of responsibility, a new sense of energy, renewed. I wasted these last 2 years of my life crying, grieving and crying and possibly being depressed. I want to really get something going, and Sophie might be like with the anchor here going, whoa, 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 whoa. I know you're excited. I know these last 2 years have been really rough on you, but let's check everything out. Let's make sure, we're not going to lose any money, or this is going to be good for both of us. And I think she might put the brakes on some of that a little bit. So there might be a little bit. Sometimes birds can be conflict too, the way birds squawk at each other. So he might see her a bit of a drag on some of that stuff. He just wants to get going. He's like, okay, I have just sat back and I'm ready to go. This 28 here, and that's generally the cycle for the Saturn return. So he's like, I mean, he's not saying this, but I'm done my Saturn return, and I've got 10 years to make my mark in life, and I want to get going on this. My ship is coming in, and Sophie's going to be like, take a deep breath. Can we just chill pill here? Let's work on our relationship. Let's make sure we're solid first. That should be number one. That should come before any kind of business things that you want to do. And so we'll see what happens with that. They might have some of their restrictions might be because of the children this year. So for example, maybe they have to stay where they are because of school, or there's something here with a child and an anchor, that's why I'm thinking, like, maybe they want to move on, or maybe they do want to move. Maybe they want to downsize, for example, or something, but they can't because they've got this commitment to one of the children. It even could be Lady Louise. Maybe she decides to change universities, or maybe she needs, something a little bit extra in this coming up year, or maybe she might even decide to move back home. Or become a royal or something, but there's something with the children coming up, definitely. If I had to say it's one, I would say it's James, because we have the Jack here, even though this is a picture of a young girl. We have the Jack, and he's J for James. So if anything, it's something to do with James. But yeah, they're going to do great. Their love is definitely here to stay. It's solidified. He's going to do well in the public eye. His career is going to do well. I'm getting that he will. There will be something here with hereditary, and maybe that affects James a little bit, knowing that he'll eventually be the next Duke, right? So maybe that will affect his choices that he makes in life. Maybe he chooses to become a working royal rather than, go to university or whatever. I mean, you can do both. Absolutely. Oh, the clock just agreed with me. So maybe he'll choose to go into the military, for example, because he knows he's going to be a working royal. Yeah, that would make sense. So he would go into the military and then travel away, and then that would be an issue for them. Okay, let's see. So, like I say, if you're born before the 15th, I don't count your first month. If you're born after the 15th, I count the next month. So he's March 10th. So this is March. March, he still has to be really careful. There is a opportunist in the mist. And I don't think I need to say too much about this. This is a redhead within an opportunist within. So March, he still has to be careful with that. We don't talk a lot about how much does Harry reach out to his uncle Edward. He might be hearing a lot from Harry in March. April is going to be just a month of love for them. Just his heart he's going to be just a really happy month. And of course, April, we might see Catherine and the kids out, so the family might be doing good. Charles might be there. Might just be a really nice month for him. April. May, what we might see in May is when he's promoted. June is the book is closed. So the cards aren't telling us what's happening in June. July is June. June also is the trooping of the color. So we'll see what happens there for Edward. So if he does, it would be May or June. July is just another extremely happy month for him. August, actually, his wealth increases in August. So whether that's investments he's made, or maybe that's when his dukedom, hereditary dukedom kicks in. I mean, I don't know, like when it's announced, by the time it's all done, does he get extra money for it, et cetera, et cetera. But anyways, he'll definitely get an increase in income. So March, April, May, June, July, August. So here's September and here's the child. So we might hear one of the children changes schools or something in September, or something to do with the children in September. October will be a very stabilizing month for him. Just really, just whatever he chooses to do, it will last him for a very long time. That's when the anchor shows up there. That's a very long time, long effort. So whatever he starts in October, good or bad, will last a very long time. Then we have November. November will be all about Sophie. So maybe he'll be more interested in some of her patronages, or she might just be really extra busy in November. December, I feel they're going to fly. They're going to go take a trip somewhere. They're going to go on vacation. Of course, they go on vacation all the time. I think this is in August here. This anchor, they'll go back to Balmoral, right? They'll do what they do every year. But I think in this in December, don't be surprised if they fly off as on a nice trip. Then we have January. January is going to be all about him. He'll actually come to the forefront on a lot of things. He'll have, that'll be a great month for him to announce things. The spotlight's kind of on him. And generally anything that he wants to get done, that would be the month I would use to approach, for example, the king of anything that he wants. He wants to face authority, not as his brother, but as the king, and have any requests. That will be his spotlight. He'll be the ace in January. And then in February, we're going to see a lot of communications in February. Articles, tweets, Instagram, social media. That's the birds. That's my internet card. So we're going to hear, so, even in January, maybe he's elevated again somehow or something. But in February, we're going to hear a lot about him and what's going on there. For some reason, he'll be in the spotlight in the media, in the communications. Might have something to do with what happens in January. Let's see, what else can I see? Now, if there is any kind of ending in his life, it will be in July. Because it's a 9 and it's a bouquet, and sometimes it's a bouquet of endings. But if there is any kind of endings, it'll be in July for him. All right, so that's Edward. Well, happy birthday, Edward. Looks like your 60th year is going to be much, much better than the previous years. You can look forward to getting that hereditary dukedom, and don't be surprised if James comes out and doesn't want to go to school and wants to do something else, like go into the military directly or something. Don't be too shocked by that. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. I just want to say I appreciate you so much. Honestly, I do. Please take good care. See you online. Bye for now.